My name is Eileen. I'm from County Cork in Ireland. I'm from a countryside area. I live near the sea and the mountains. I love being near the sea. It's beautiful to be able to appreciate the beauty of nature. I also enjoy to travel and see new places, and I love Irish music as well. So as a child, I was very blessed to grow up in a practicing Catholic family, and also to learn more about my faith from my parents as well. And my mum was always a very inspiring person for me to share about the faith, especially about the closeness of Our Lady in our lives as well. And I always remarked that as a child I felt very interested in the lives of the saints. So I used to like looking at little books that were left around the house and reading the stories about the saints. And one thing I noticed especially was that Our Lady had an instrumental role for many of them. She really helped them to put out into deep waters for Christ. And in many ways, she showed them how much they are loved by God, which gave them the courage to do what they needed to do. And I found that very inspiring as a child, how all these saints coming from so many different places, different countries, cultures, their family lives were different, but yet they were able to do great things for God. And just to see how Our Lady was that thread that was interwoven in each of their lives in a unique way as well. So for me, I think it struck me how generous God is. Not only did He give us His Son, Christ, who gave everything for us, but then Jesus gives us His mother. And to realize that in a deep way really brings peace into our lives. To see how generous Jesus is to give us His mother, who's so perfect, so immaculate. And it's not intimidating that she is perfect, because she was chosen by God especially to be our mother as well. And so her love is perfect, the way that she gives to us is perfect, and she holds nothing back from us. Anything that is good, she desires to give it to us and to give us her joy. For the past number of years, I've been working in the area of faith formation and catechesis, and also working with children as well, which I found very rewarding, and doing outreach to parishes as well. I have often felt Our Lady's intercession in my everyday life, just in the way that she helps me and guides me as well every day, particularly in my work, or just simple decisions. Often, in the past, if I have been overthinking a situation or just overcomplicating it in my mind, I've seen that when I entrusted it to Our Lady, that often it turned out not to be an issue, or the situation was just resolved. And I remember a very good priest giving this advice as well to me, that just to entrust everything to your mother, Our Lady. She's our spiritual mother and she loves us, and anything that we give to her, she will bless it, she will take care of it. And for me it made sense, I guess, because when I reflected on it, I see that Mary is a mother, And what do our mothers do? They're always looking after things for us. They want to prepare things for us. They want to have us ready for life, for all that is good. And Our Lady is the same. She wants to prepare us not only in this life, but also for eternity. And that for me gave me great consolation in any situation, big or small, to remember that advice, or to consecrate people that I encounter every day, those that I love that are closest to me, people that I work with. Just consecrate them to Our Lady and see how she takes care of everything. And really it's borne a lot of fruit for me in bringing me great peace as well. Because often I like to imagine what Our Lady's disposition would be in her earthly life as well. And I feel like her disposition of heart is one of peace, it's one of joy, it's one of gentleness, and where she was always devoted to Jesus, and she had an undivided heart. And I remember reflecting on that particularly in my teenage years, and as I started college. What's it like to have an undivided heart, one where you know that you are doing God's will, and the way that kind of brings us real joy. And I think I noticed in times if I was doing something that really wasn't bringing me peace, then I pray to Our Lady that she gives me that undivided heart and to shed light on a situation as well. I remember in particular when I was finishing school and deciding what to study next, and of course there are so many options, so many courses available, and at the time I felt like I was interested in lots of different things like health or music, English, the arts. So many options, which I think many young people feel, especially when it's kind of one of your first big decisions to make in life. And I remember not having complete peace about the decision to go and study one of those courses, and I was unsure, maybe just deciding on it for the sake of deciding on that course. And I remember when praying to Our Lady not long afterwards, not long after a trip to Medjugorje actually, it was my first time there. And I was coming back and I was going to have exams like the Irish and French orals, and I remarked feeling a great sense of peace actually, and not worrying about what questions were going to be asked and so on. And not long after that as well, someone had suggested the idea to me about studying theology. And I hadn't known anything about theology, even though, of course, I was practicing my faith. And I decided to Google it and was looking it up online. And the more I looked into it, for some reason, I couldn't explain why, it just kept niggling at me. And after some prayer and probably what was really just a final decision, I decided to study theology. And I found actually I had great peace about going on this new adventure. It was, of course, my first time moving away from home. So moving from a quiet country place to obviously busier near the city location, and living with new people. So many first experiences. And I remember particularly the night before going, just those butterfly feelings you have when you're starting a new journey, and the sense of leaving your home for the first time. And I just remember praying to Our Lady on the journey. Members of my family came with me as well. And I noticed on that day actually when we were moving my stuff to my new accommodation, just little blessings that had happened which really stood out to me, and I felt they were Our Lady's reminder that she was with me, and that this was the route for me. And one of them in particular actually was connected with a saint that I've really come to love over the past number of years, and Saint John Paul II. I felt very inspired by his life, particularly just from reading books on his life. But interestingly, on the day of the journey to college, the first day, Our Lady used him actually to bring a blessing that day. And we had landed in our location in Maynooth, and we had many bags with us, all the luggage. I had to find where the accommodation was. And just at that moment, as we arrived there, this small van drove past, a white van. On the side of it, there was just an image of Pope St. John Paul II, and he was smiling, that lovely smile which is captured in so many photos and paintings. And it just felt like he was looking at us. And for me in that moment, it was like the hand of Our Lady really that brought that little blessing. That was confirmation for me that we're here ahead of you, and we're here with you. And it brought great peace and great joy as well. So in my studies in theology, one of the topics we looked at was Maryology. And Maryology is the study of Our Lady, how she is Mother of the Church, and how she is Mother of each of us. And especially looking back into church history and how the early church fathers and many of the saints and many great popes wrote about Our Lady and her instrumental role in the church, and especially her motherly protection. And in many ways, how much her life teaches us about Christ as well. And I especially remarked that in studying this topic, it really deepened my own understanding of Mary in a new way, how she is so vital for our relationship with God and also our relationship with the church. Because for me, she helped me understand many things of why I need her in my faith life, and to help me understand many things about the church as well, about Christ. And I remember especially stories from great writers, even like Fulton Sheen, and he wrote about the hidden years of Jesus's life and Mary and Saint Joseph. And that really struck me, because often, I suppose, when we're studying, we're very focused on particular texts and particular works and very technical language sometimes. And for me, thinking about their hidden life before Jesus's public ministry, and just imagining Our Lady in that role in their home in Nazareth, and she's taking care of all the little things. She's taking care of their home every day. She's looking after Jesus as a child. And there's so much we don't know about that time, those first 30 years that are hidden. And there's something very beautiful about that, I felt. The humility and the hiddenness for me was very beautiful. And I think it helped me center the rest of my studies around that image. And another lovely line that struck me as well was how everything in Mary's life played out perfectly. So God had a perfect image for her life, and the way one author described it was like a melody. When a composer writes a piece of music, he has, I suppose, an image or a vision in mind of how that music will sound, how it's played out. And for God, as the divine composer, Our Lady plays out the melody perfectly in her life. And I love that image because I love music myself. I love Irish music, and there's a lot of learning new tunes, and we learn in a way that we try to play according to the notation, but we can also have our own variations in it as well. And sometimes our lives can be like that. But But knowing that Mary plays out her life in the way that God intended is a beautiful image, and I think that really struck me as well for my own life and in my studies. I love the Miraculous Medal. This little medal for me is very special, and I like to wear it all the time when I can. I especially have memories of the Miraculous Medal from college. A lovely group of friends that I met, they were part of a youth Legion of Mary group on campus, and part of their work was handing out Miraculous Medals to other people, particularly students and young people on campus. And so once a week they would always come together and pray together, and then do some outreach work as well, sometimes knocking on doors, but often just meeting people spontaneously and offering them the gift of the Miraculous Medal. And for me to witness this was really lovely, because I could see in a concrete way how we can share our Mother Mary with other people, just by very simply and gently offering someone the gift of our Miraculous Medal, that gift is for them especially. And through doing that work as well, I found that my own respect and love for Mary as my personal mother as well really grew. And also to wear my medal, especially because Our Lady offers us so many graces through the Miraculous Medal as well, as she promised to St. Catherine Laboure. And it's a very beautiful story of her reminder to us how close she is with us every day, and that really all we have to do is ask her for the graces and she gives them to us. And sometimes that's even just asking, even for me, for the grace of courage, just to share that little medal with someone. I also like to pray the Rosary. I wasn't always consistent in praying it every day when I was younger or when I was in college, but I found in recent years sometimes I have gone through moments where I can be consistent, and then sometimes I fall again. But I definitely noticed a difference in days where I pray the Rosary. Just peace, I think, really, and also clarity. I find the Rosary can help give me a better sense of light in different situations, and particularly just knowing that Our Lady is there each time we pray the Rosary, or if I'm praying for someone's needs. I feel like the Rosary is a beautiful gift that we can offer another person as well, because we're meditating with Our Lady on the life of Jesus. So it's very powerful. And anytime I find when I do fall, when I don't pray the Rosary, is when I should. Sometimes just reading the lives of the saints. There are so many of them, and I love many of the saints and their stories, but particularly even again St. John Paul II, he had a lovely quote where he said, the Rosary is his daily meeting with Our Lady, and neither of them never miss that meeting. And I find that encouraging for me, because sometimes when I just read something like that, a quote, it just inspires me to pray the Rosary and to keep it up. Our Lady is my mother, my spiritual mother. I have seen her guiding hand in so many situations in my life, but really just to remark her love. I've seen her love, often it's subtle and it's gentle, but it's very powerful. And through that love, she has really drawn me closer to her son Jesus, and appreciating the great love that even Jesus and Mary have for each other. They are so united, and for me, Our Lady shows me that wherever she is, Christ is there also. And they are our truest friends, our truest companions, and they are there to give us life and life to the full.
My name is Michael O'Neill. I'm the Miracle Hunter. We're looking at the miraculous icons of the Virgin Mary from all around the world. A famous one from Croatia, Mother of Bistrica, is one of these black Madonnas that are seen throughout all of Europe. In this case, it was made around 1400, but it was buried for safekeeping in protection from the Turks. But in 1525, a supernatural light shone upon that spot and they rediscovered where it was buried. In 1588, they had to bury it in the walls again. And in 1684, it was discovered another time. In 1930, she was declared the Mother of Croatia and became known as one of the most famous Marian icons in all of Christian history.